My name is Heidi Freeman. I teach children who are 5 and 6 years old. And some of the challenges that I faced with the computer science is I didn't have any previous background, knowledge, or training in computer science.
The biggest challenge that I found was just deciding whether actually teaching computer science to children this young was even a good idea. Many of the children that we work with can't read yet, and they're just learning their letters and their numbers, and I worried that teaching them a new code would just be too confusing for them.
I was attempting to teach computer science and got on the code app bandwagon, and really felt like I had kind of reached a max, and I felt like the students weren't getting much out of it because they were just completing the next level and really not understanding the thinking or the concepts behind those apps. And there are a lot of good apps out there, but it just was like, I don't know where else we're going to go. And I did some searching for some unplugged things like CS Unplugged and found some things, but for myself as a classroom teacher, I didn't have the computer science background, the understanding of those concepts to get a progression and to create that system of how to develop the understandings of the concepts for students that I was working with.
Each week when we would access the Share to Teach website, we would read through the materials that were there and meet together and brainstorm some ways that we wanted to make it work with our students. So we really based our lessons on what was on the Share to Teach, but we'd use the slides and sort of tweak them. We did a lot of brainstorming, and then we taught the lesson to one of our classes, and Phil would team teach with us, and then we would go to the next person, and we took turns going first.
So one of the ways we would plan I think we started on Mondays. So we would learn everything the previous Wednesday, and then we had 2 weeks to follow through with our lesson. So we would meet that Monday and review what was on Share to Teach, but then we would create a shared document that we could create our presentation in. So as we were talking, all 3 of us at the same time could be adding in notes. So presentation notes, and I'm going to put here a slide, but we wouldn't have all the photos yet, but we would have a note saying add on-off switch here, add cell phone here, whatever it might be. So so that was really useful, and then it would be interesting to probably look at the history because it changed over the course of teaching it 4 times. So it wasn't just taught in each of our kindergarten classrooms or with our 5 and 6 year olds, but it was also taught in each neighboring classroom. So we have 4 classrooms of the same age group, and so we wanted to keep the curriculum consistent among all 4 classrooms, even though the other 2 teachers weren't part of the Share to Teach experience. Their students still got to be a part of it because Phil would be the lead teacher going into those classrooms instead of us doing the co-teaching with him. And then he would teach the lesson, and they would assist as they, maybe they were the scribe writing the notes from the thinking routine or getting the materials out. But I think the lessons presented themselves in a way that even though they hadn't gone through all of the information with us and the course and the activities, they could quickly jump in and assist and be a part
they
of
could see
it.
the connections, and they got a good understanding of the concepts of the teaching points that we were presenting, and really, for me, it was being able to. They were able to make connections to other curriculum that they were teaching, like the how-to writing prompts that you were doing.
And we added in some different videos and things that really tied in well with our writing unit on how to. So. I think it was a very good connection, and because our classrooms are doing very similar things, it seemed pretty seamless among the 4 classes.
It was. Well, and I think what was fun for me was to be able to teach with you, and it was new for us as well as for the students, so they got to see us kind of grapple with these concepts.
Yes.
It's like, Wait,
Yeah.
oh, should we,
Right.
or what
Should
did
we
we
try
learn
this?
this? Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was just kind of nice for them to see, oh, well,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, they're learning it too, and
Yeah.
it,
Right, yeah.
they're going to make some mistakes.
I think they
and-
didn't see us as the experts,
No.
which ideally they don't anyway, and are teaching so much, but like that they are also, so I think they definitely felt like we were all learning together.
Yeah, but the Share to Teach gave us such a nice framework
Right.
that we didn't have to be experts.
Right.
You know, we could come in with this base of understanding and develop it along the way, but also give the students a good framework to learn with them.
Yeah. And a lot of parents said that their kids were talking about it at home
Oh, yeah.
too,
I heard of that
and trying
too.
things out at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was fun to see
Yeah.
as well, or to hear about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one day, a dad brought me that tablet,
Oh yeah.
just open tablet. And they said they took it apart at breakfast.
Purposefully,
Yeah,
on purpose.
it
Okay.
didn't work.
It was broken. It was already broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just that they were
Right.
taking it home. They were
Right.
taking those ideas home
And using
and
them.
trying
Yeah.
them at home.
Yeah. I think, like Phil was saying, there's plenty of information in Share to Teach that gives you the basics. And maybe it gets more difficult as the kids get older and they have more information, but you can also learn from them. So I did not feel intimidated going into the lesson because I had all the information beforehand. So plus we had each other to work with. So
I also think that even when they were asking questions, like when we had the computer open and they were saying, well, what is that for? What is that for? What is that for? And I didn't know. But I could say, what do you think? And then they could say what they thought. And it didn't matter if it was right or wrong. We never really got to the end of, oh, well, it has to be the RAM or whatever. And we made up our own names for things. What do you think that does? And oh, well, that's connected to this. Or so they really figured it out on their own. And I didn't ever feel like I needed to be the expert with this age group.
And that was emphasized in teaching to us, and when the lesson was taught to us, that it didn't matter what everything was called.
Right.
The
Right.
communication was the key.
And the connection.
And the
Yeah.
connection of how things get communicated. So I don't think I was freaking out about what the different parts were called
No.
because of that.
Well, and I should say, I mean, even though my title is technology integrationist, I mean, I've been a classroom teacher for 17 years and out of the classroom now for 7. So that's my, just like you, that's my
Right.
my experience has been mostly just teaching all the curriculum, and so, yeah, I even though technology is in my title, I'm not a computer scientist, and so this was all very accessible and friendly, and it just actually makes me want to learn more because it's just fun, and I see how fun it is for the students.
Yeah.
When you come in, they're just
Totally.
like eating it up.
Right.
It's like, well, I need to know more about this so that I can keep going with it.